Hey guys, today we're going to build the Grosse Hund early type. Thank you so much for all of the wonderful comments on my rehabilitation. It's made me feel a little bit guilty about not coming fully clean with you, so please let me. In fact, late last year with my little health incident, I suffered a couple of light strokes. I feel I need to confess this with you because it might be one of the reasons why I'm not quite as easy to understand. My voice is not quite as clear as it was last year and before that. So I'm very sorry about this. I was not comfortable with talking about it myself. Admitting to yourself and saying that you've had a couple of strokes is actually quite difficult to do. Thankfully, rehabilitation is going really well, so fingers crossed, all is good. Late last year we were talking about this one, and I need to make mention of it. After my little hospital stay, I was feeling a little bit vulnerable, so I wasn't quite feeling up to making this one, and I hadn't made as much progress, simply put. This one, however, I popped open the box to refresh my memory, clear the brain fog, and I realized I'd almost finished making it. So, I'm quite comfortable with this genre. I have a lot of experience with it. I thought this one made a lot more sense to jump into as a bit more of a kind restart for me. So when working with this one, I've got some build notes. I'd like to explain what early and late means for this particular version. I've got an upgrade built to show you for fixing up the antenna. It's really easy to break otherwise. And please stick around to the end of the video. I would like to show you the paint cards and some ideas I've got for my paint version, and I'd like your input on that. Okay, Grosse Hund, big dog times. Let's get going.
Build notes. A few thoughts on this kit. The design is pure genius and the end result is brilliant. You can see why this is a popular kit. First, the plastic color. This might be an interesting behind the scenes share. I chose it. Really? Way back in 2010 or 11, Koyokama sensei asked for my input and I made the suggestion of dark mahogany as a shortcut for painting. It was my go-to at the time. I didn't actually get to work on a production version until now, and I will admit it's a little challenging to see the details. But also, in saying that, I think it's a kit you can get away with being a little rough on in terms of build. Next up in the painting steps, I'm excited to test out the color as I planned all those years ago. As for the overall build itself, it's good. It does suffer from Hasegawa type seam lines through the middle of almost everything, plus flash and mold lines on either side of pretty much all the parts as well. But that's the joy of this kind of sci-fi modeling, isn't it? Cleanup is needed, and I try to use it as a quiet time to listen to music and catch up on podcasts. How about you? How do you entertain yourself during kit cleanup? Early or late type? This is the first plastic Grosse Hund kit, and I have chosen to build an early type. Please note that when this kit suggests early or late type, this does not include the many versions that were released after this. So it really means early or late type of this first type of Grosse Hund kit only. I hope that made sense. The main differences include the early head unit shape, smaller feet, these joint covers, and just the one Panzerschreck on each side of the hull, main body torso. I'll point out the other differences in the next builds for you, so please make sure to subscribe to catch them too. Antenna rebuild. Although not 100% necessary at all, this is a common part that I break when handling for painting on all of the Strahl SDR type suits and equipment. It's a simple upgrade to strengthen and detail as well, and I'll quickly take you through my steps here. Carefully cut off the thin section and supporting base from the housing. Mark your drill points. Got to hit that center mark. There's not a lot of space. I've drilled out for 1mm. 0.8mm would also look good. Cut an appropriate length of 1mm brass, or 0.8 if that's what you've done. Cut some 1.5mm spring, just enough for the base. Assemble with a touch of CA glue to taste. Easy. Looks great. Much stronger. Maschinen weld bead marks. You might also like to add some fancy weld beads to your new antenna housing to show how it was attached at the factory. Just be careful following me. I'm way out of practice and feel they are a little mediocre this time, but I promise we can improve with practice. Mix up some 2-part epoxy putty. Use plenty of water to prevent it from sticking. Many modelers I'm friends with use their spit, but I don't shake hands or touch their models. Mix it really well for an even color. You never want to know how the sausages are made. Roll out some 1 to 2 millimeter for this 1/20th scale. Make yourself a little straight edge with the toothpick. One friend, TJ Haller, has made an amazing tool for himself. I'll show it in my next book. Start sticking it to yourself despite the water and restart many times. I'm just kidding, but I do want to give you a heads up that it can be a challenge and a little frustrating at first. Apply your little putty sausages in the join line. Try to press it along the line with your tool to emulate the pattern that real welding makes. Make sure you keep your tools and finger wet. Here, I purposely noob out for you and get stuck. I slightly recover here and complete the faux weld. I also trimmed a little with a blade to tighten it up in a few spots. It's not my best welding work, but this particular Strahl Democratic technician is way out of practice, and I need to get in the factory and do some more work. After the detailing, here's a spot that earns a special mention, the smoke discharges. First, it's a heads up that they are quite easy to cut too close and damage. Oh, how we are spoiled with undergates. For peace of mind, I cut them with plenty of runner still attached. I trimmed carefully with my hobby knife to get it close. Then I swapped to a thinner 3mm sanding sponge that can easily conform to the small diameter. That's a little milk container top I'm reusing to keep a little water for the wet sanding and dust collection. Tidied up and no plastic stress mark is so nice. Now the placement is only vaguely rumored in the instructions. Yes, with Maschinen Krieger kits, that's a feature. Seriously though, I think it helps to follow the genius and learn from Ko Yokoyama sensei's designs to figure out how he placed things on his original builds, of which these kits are replicas. I kind of equate the distance with the other details and eyeball in 2 more with the right line and length. A light scratch with a tri-tool and then a drop of thin cement to mark the spot. I congratulate myself on choosing Tamiya for the wonderful smell. The smoke discharger bases are then glued in and ever so slightly adjusted into place. Then our top is glued into place, making sure our angles look nice and cool. They need to point ever so slightly outwards and kind of forward, but you can fine tune your own look. It's your kit now. The paint card and colors. 4 colors on my early type build. I am feeling that an early type scheme might work best, and this might be an opportunity to show that for your inspiration and reference. Here's the included paint card, front and back, that has suggestions, plus the back of the box also has another beautifully printed paint card on it. I'm kind of leaning towards the dark yellow over grey, but please let me know your favorites and your top pick. There's one more scheme that I saw recently that would really work. It's by one of my students, old friend and long-term supporter Rob, and it's on his Yacht Gustav. I remember his inspiration clearly as Mr. Brian Krieger used this type of paint scheme on a Quetzal many years ago, and it's based on a World War I, I believe, warplane camouflage, and it's beautiful. Please let me know if you'd like to see that one or one from the paint cards. Thank you very much to my Patreon supporters for paying me to make this video about the big dog build. It's shaping up to be a really cool project, and next I'll share my paint steps. For more of my work, please check out paintonplastic.com and my books. Links are in the description for you. Thanks.